Hi there. Namaste. I was thinking this week about effort. If you had seen one of my posts on my Facebook page, just Twyla Gingrich, I posted about effort. A day this week where there was just a lot of effort. And it's really easy to interpret effort as a negative thing, right? Because a lot of times when we're in effort, we can have more tense muscles. We might be breathing more short and shallow. Our heart rate might be going up. And those are signs of stress as well. Again, stress is not a bad thing, but stress starting to happen in the body. And the mind can interpret this in a way that's dangerous and go into fight or flight mode. And I feel like the dialogue around stress, effort, which is in that as well, is that it's not a good thing, right? It's something that needs to be fixed or taken care of. But if we don't have effort, we don't put in effort, and if we don't have effort, we don't change and grow. Thinking of a good example of this that is shared a lot in some of the yoga texts and scriptures is thinking about a diamond. A diamond is created by intense pressure and effort from from the gravity and just the pressure forces on coal, right? And from that pressure, that stress, a diamond emerges. Amazing, right? Truly amazing. So I want us to start to explore and think about effort differently. And I mentioned in my title here about chair pose because I want to use chair pose. I love chair pose because not only is it a great position to strengthen a lot of our muscles that tend to atrophy because just of normal sitting and normal modern day posture, but it's also a great exploration of effort. And you may have heard this before because I've heard it. I remember even hearing this the first time in a class, and I was like, what the heck is this? This concept of effortless effort. What? These are opposites. Effortless effort. So let's explore what that is. So I'm going to have you get into chair pose with me. I'm going to bring this down. Hopefully you can kind of see me if I back up here. It's kind of hard to see. I think this so I can even see what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So thinking about chair pose here. You can't see my legs, but I've got my legs, feet about hip width apart. Okay, so my knees are pointing forward. I'd like you to have a nice, comfortable stance rather than being your legs together. This is really unstable for us, and if we want to create effortless effort, we also need to find stability, right? That helps to calm the nervous system because it can trust that. So I've got a nice stance here, and I'm shifting my weight back. I'm contracting my glutes, drawing the belly in towards the spine, and then the arms, they can be up, they can be out in front, they can come into cactus arms. So lots of options here. So I'm going to just bring my arms out in front and come down. So let's breathe here. My weight's a little bit more into my heels, but I can feel my feet. Kind of the 3 points of my foot are in contact with the floor below my big toe, my pinky toe, and then my heels. So let's be here. All right. You might be already starting to feel sensations of effort. So let's try breathing. Take a nice breath in through the nose. Let it out through the mouth. Good. You might start to have shaking. That's okay. Allow that to happen. If you have to come out slightly and then come back in, go ahead and do that. So continue to breathe. I like to tell people in my classes, smile. Let's smile here. Breathe here. So eventually this effort is going to end. We're not going to be in this forever, right? Remind yourself that. Let's come out of it. Let's go back in. And you get to decide how low you go. All right? Don't even have to go that low. It can just be a slight bend in the knees. Breathing. Think about a positive experience you had this week. What was something amazing that happened? What's something you're grateful for from the week? Good, let's rise up and release. Nice. All right, shake it out a bit. Whew. So there was effort in that, right? That effort, like I mentioned before, is on one hand building strength, right, in our body. But some of the cues I gave you, things like breathing, right, a little smile in the face, finding that stability, right, allowing yourself to move a little bit. And what are you thinking about, right? Shifting that mind, that focus to maybe some gratitude, a positive memory. These are all things that can help make effort more effortless, because effort's going to happen in our lives, right? The effort I had to do was doing with work stuff, and I had committed to myself some things I was going to complete. And man, I had many moments where I was like ready to just, I'm done. I'm just going to go do something else and ignore this. Like I don't want to deal with it, right? But I committed to myself. So these are some things I did. I breathed. I let myself take a break, came back, like giving myself positive encouragement, keep going, and just kind of kept doing that. And you know what? Over the day, I accomplished in what I had committed, the actions I committed to doing. And it felt great. And I was proud of myself. And I was proud of myself for how I met that effort. Okay? Effort is thinking about that diamond again. Effort is necessary for us to grow and learn. Okay. The other thing that I think about a lot, I see a lot, is this term, the flow state, like being in the flow. And there's this thing about like getting in the flow state, and then you're in it. Well, you know what? Sometimes you're not in the flow state. Like sometimes it's hard, and we have to move through that resistance, move through the effort to find that flow again. I mean, just go to any river and follow it, and there are obstacles in there, right? I'm going to say like change the flow. The water's just not going to continuously go straight, and because of the fluidity of that water, right, it's able to navigate and continue moving through despite whatever is in its path. So thinking about that too, how can we embody that quality of water? So this is where there is flow, right? But we might have to be in effort to actually move through that. Okay? So when you are practicing, if you're practicing some yoga poses or yoga class, going to a yoga class, think about this. Make effort and in observation. And how can you be in effort a little more effortlessly, right? Finding some more ease in that effort. And then as you go through your day, this is even more important. How can you also practice finding more of that ease in effort when there is effort, and not try to escape it or avoid it or fight it, but be present to it and be in the learning of it. It's a profound teacher.